All right, welcome back to the Animal House. So, today is going to be a quick video on some kind of predictions and some kind of heads up on what's going on. So, look, Chris Christie dropped out of the presidential race in North America. That was going to be obvious. He should have never been in the mix to begin with. Um, I personally, I think the guy is just an absolute lazy toad. And the fact that New Jersey put him on as many times as they did is still shocking to me. But East Coast does things a little bit differently. So, whatever, so he dropped out of the race. Everybody that has been following the, Republican, debates and all that, he thought he had a zinger early on when, he took digs at Trump, but he literally never put any policy forward, any ideas forward the entire time. He basically did two things. Initially, it was just digging at Trump, and then he took shots at Vivek. And Vivek Ramaswamy, another Republican uh, person running for presidency, who is an absolute stud in every way. Super intelligent. He's young. He's got a handle on economics, policy, everything going. I don't agree with him on 100% of things, but I'd say probably 94% of things. He's the first millennial to run for Republican presidency. So there's a lot of things going for him. Young blood, person of color. He's super intelligent. He's got a business acumen. About the most people can take shots at him on is he didn't vote early in his life, which most people, including myself, didn't. I don't really think you start really caring about politics until it really starts affecting you financially or for socially, I guess, when it takes, starts affecting your family or something along those lines. So Christie's out of the race. And now you're seeing something interesting because you still have, the Democrats trying to, put out that Muppet Biden and, what he's got going on. He doesn't have anything going on. The guy is completely lost. He makes, uh, completely incoherent ramblings, mumblings. He's constantly telling these stories about corn pop and, like borderline, like racial things. But as I've said in the past, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, or the Clintons in general have been on record for decades saying that their, you know, uh, mentor has been a guy by the name of Robert Byrd. Robert Byrd was a senator. Robert Byrd was also a Klan member. Joe Biden spoke at his funeral. The picture that they used at his funeral wasn't of him in his business suit, it was him in his Klan robe. So nobody should be surprised that the guy that is making these borderline racial remarks that he's been on record in the past saying, overtly racial things is, a degenerate racist. So that shouldn't be shocking to anybody. Now, who are the Democrats going to bring out to replace him? Who knows? I mean, DeSantis absolutely manhandled Gavin Newsom in the debates that they had. Why two governors had a debate right during the middle of all the presidential debate stuff? Who knows? I think initially they were trying to bring Newsom to the running to be able to, put him in that presidential running seat. But, he just got absolutely keelhauled by DeSantis, which was shocking because, DeSantis is a great governor, and I think he does great on policy and he does great on managerial, type of stuff. I think he does good on logistical stuff. He's done phenomenal things for the state of Florida, but he isn't a very good debater and he's not a good shit talker. And, he tries to do things very proper, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but in today's day and age, you got to be able to talk shit. You got to be able to play dirty. And unfortunately, that's the way politics has gotten. But, don't hate the player, hate the game kind of thing, whatever. So moving forward, I think they were trying to put, Newsom in that seat, but Newsom is a very good speaker. He's very slick, but he's also slimy. And I think people can see that he's just very disingenuous when he's talking. I think people can see that he is just an absolute slime bag. I think people can see that he's a snake. So I don't think people are going to really buy into it. unless they're just hardcore, Democratic Kool-Aid drinkers. And those are going to be the kind of people that no matter what, they're going to vote their party way. So I just don't think, I mean, and also look, he's run the state of California completely into the ground. It's turned into, a shell of what it used to be. More people are moving out than moving in. The economy in California is in the toilet. The California had a very rich, very diverse economy. They had tech, they had agriculture, they had manufacturing, they had, just about everything you can possibly imagine in one state. And it's a massive state. So it was just an economic and social powerhouse. It is no longer that anymore. And so what's he going to run on? Look at what I did to the biggest, best state in the Republic. I don't think he has anything to run on. And I don't think they have enough time to build up enough bullshit and head of steam to be able to get him to be identified by people that aren't either hardcore politicians, followers, or people in the state of California that already know who he is and how much of a slime bag he is. So, I think what's been interesting lately is you've seen a lot of the financial support that was supporting a lot of the Democratic people starting to shift over to one person in the Republican side. And the vast majority of middle of the road people were kind of behind this person at first, and then very quickly started shifting back to, either being undecided or back onto the Trump side of the house. And so your libertarians, your middle of the road people, or your Republicans were looking at Nikki Haley as a potential option. But then over time, she's shown her colors. And I think a lot of that has also been with the people that started to support her both financially and outwardly, verbally. And you have people like Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, who is, one of the people that's financing a lot of these, lefty politics and lefty, political, as well as, your different folks that are in positions of power. You also have people like Larry Fink, who is, the king of the woke industrial complex. He's also the leader of BlackRock, which is a financial institution that is doing a lot of this new world order kind of support. And if you look into a lot of the stuff that BlackRock is doing, is supporting, if you're a libertarian or a conservative minded person, these are not the people that you look too fondly on. So, you have these new supporters that were very Democratic leaning supporters that don't have a horse in the race anymore. So you see them shifting over to a rhino, Republican in name only, rhino, such as Nikki Haley. And she's a puppet as well. There's a lot of stuff going around about, when she did that very short stint, in the political office outside of the Carolinas where she was the governor, she became what most people believe she got bought, because she's getting a lot of supporters from the military industrial complex, a lot of money from that area. She's taken these very hardline stances that are very rhino in nature. So, that'll be something interesting to watch how that goes on. This should be the last election in history that the mainstream media has much of an effect on. As we've seen over time, a lot of the mainstream media just keeps plummeting, and your, alternative media such as podcasting and internet and, social media and things like that are becoming the news sources. And I think this is also going to be interesting because now you're starting to see, not just these crazy leftists on the internet, but you're starting to see more of the libertarians, more of the conservative base get on there and reconnect with the help of people such as Elon Musk, with the help of, websites or, social media groups like, X and Truth Social and Rumble, which are allowing a lot more of the traditional freedom of speech, where whether they agree with you or not, as long as you follow within the legal parameters of the freedom of speech, they're going to allow you to do that. which is why I personally, with my stuff, support them. I recently started putting some stuff out on YouTube, but my primary focus is going to be on Rumble and X. And the reason why I put things out on YouTube is to try to draw more eyes over to one, our channel here, as well as to get more people to see that, the stuff that a lot of these other mainstream media and uh, social networks that are saying bad things about, Rumble and X, that it's just, nothing but a bunch of, neo-Nazis or racists or whatever, isn't true, that there is a lot more of your debate and conversation over there. So, I'm trying to use YouTube to like pull things over. I tried to avoid it at first, but I had just had way too many people, both inside the industry and out, that were saying, hey, try to, put some stuff over there too. So I'm not going to put as much over there, but I'm still going to put some. Now back to what we've got over here. This 2024 election is going to be interesting because, as Bloomberg reported, you got 40 different countries that are having large elections going on in the same year. So that's a massive amount of the global population that is going to be, moving around. So that could be good and bad. It could be bad because you have so many people. It's really chaotic, a lot of movement, a lot of different countries. A lot of people are, nervous and upended. Or it could be very, very good where you start seeing things change. But I mean, you have two of the largest Muslim countries with Pakistan and Indonesia voting, and then you have some of the NATO panel stuff is being voted on, and then you have a lot of other countries as far as just the country's political leadership is being voted on. And you have like Business Insider made a statement that 99% of Americans are financially worse off now under the Bidenomics and the Biden administration. So you're starting to see normally these media outlets that are, pro-Democrat, pro-lefty politics, pro the woke agenda are starting to like wake up, whether, they truly believed in the woke agenda and then now it's just so bad that they can't, or they just see that the tides are shifting, that you have people leaving the Democratic Party that are going independent or switching to the Republican side, or you're seeing that a lot more people are just, coming out and being like, I'm not going to hide anymore. I'm not going to be fearful of, being canceled or all this. And a lot of people have just seen through this cancel culture BS where, comedians are back to making jokes again and not fearful of, being controlled. A lot of people have looked for alternate media where they're not, held over a barrel, where it's, if you don't say or do what we want you to do, we're going to, make it where you can't make any money or make it where your voice can't be heard. So I think things are starting to change, and they're changing very, very quickly. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see what happens moving forward here. And, then you have stuff like the Israel-Palestine thing still going on. You still have, people saying that the Israelis are doing bad stuff and they're killing civilians. I think people just need to understand war is war. Now, I'm not advocating for killing civilians, but war is war. And when the Palestinians attack the Jewish population out of nowhere and they want to argue their point, hey, there was some, bad stuff that happened on that side. And Israel responded in kind. So once again, I'm not pro or against any specific group. I just think people need to understand the reality of what's happening. And then you have the Houthis constantly attacking innocent shipping vessels. And they're saying that, it's because they're trying to interrupt the logistical support for the war in Israel-Palestine, and they're trying to disrupt the financial benefit of Israeli businesses. But there is no, they don't know for a fact that any of these ships are Israeli ships. To the best of my knowledge, none of these ships have been Israeli ships. Now, there may be a few crates here and there, shipping containers on them that are bound for Israel, but the reason, their justification for attacking and their logistical support behind that reason do not match whatsoever. So, the Dwight D. Eisenhower, in the last 72 hours has shot down, another 26 attacks, whether it be missiles or drones. And, the Israeli military has gotten involved. The, United Kingdom's military has gotten involved in trying to stabilize the shipping routes that are going near or around Yemen through the Gulf of Aden and the Strait of Hormuz and the through that shipping canal there, because their only other option is to go all the way around the Horn of Africa and come up, and that's another, I think, 3,500 miles or 35. Yeah, it's a crazy amount of distance, and so that's more fuel, that's more cost to the business, cost to the insurance company. It requires more of the sailors that work on those boats to be on there because they have to run more shifts, so all the cost of goods go up. So I think in the last month the cost of shipping through that area has gone up 4%, which doesn't really seem like a lot, but it's quite a bit of money considering when you order something online and you hit buy it now, free shipping, all that stuff, that 4% makes a huge difference because they're not running on massive margins to begin with. Now, people say, oh, Amazon or Walmart or whomever can afford it, but they're not going to take the hit on that. You as the consumer are going to take the hit on that. So, people can say, oh, I'll pay more for, goods if, it's for allowing these people to fight for freedom. Well, the Houthis aren't fighting for freedom. The Houthis are fighting for the Houthis. And the Houthis aren't an organized group anyways. These are militants that are being financially supported by Iran. Iran is definitely not a democracy. Iran has some of the most heinous, abuse of their population of any country around. And on top of that, now it's been confirmed by South Korea that the Houthis are not only using Iranian missiles and weapons, that they're also using North Korean missiles and weapons. So through all of this, you're getting more money spent in these countries that have been enemies and that have been known for human rights violations. So this is just a quick update on what's going on. I hope everybody starts seeing the light here, and let's open this up for debate. Hope people are paying attention. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for coming by. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends.